Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel where you learn everything about analytics, automation and productivity. In this video, I'm going to show you how to generate PDF document with a dynamic content without a premium connector in Power Automate. And this use case can be applied to any processes where you need PDF to be generated either during the flow or at the end of that process. And the good thing here is that you don't need any license to do this except the usual Power Automate license. So to get this done, and in the use case that I'm going to be using in this video is a certificate generation for a particular webinar. And to get this done, I have created a form that has only just name of the person. Okay, additionally I might want to add email so that I can put in the email address where you want to get it. Email address. Alright, so we have email address here, and I also need Power Automate to create my flow, then SharePoint site. I have a SharePoint team site which is called application, and here I'm in the document library. I'm just going to go to the home page of the SharePoint site. Then I'll be creating a SharePoint document library. It's important because it will help us to feed in dynamic content into this. Remember, the goal is to achieve this without a custom connector. So I'm just going to go to new and then use document library. This is going to be webinar certificate. That's what we call this, certificates. I'm going to create it. Now that we are done creating this, we'll be adding more columns. Part of the columns, number one, will be the full name of this person. What's the full name? Remember, we have that. Here's the full name. I also need the email of the person. Email. And lastly, I'm going to need the, what I call it now, the date submitted. So date submitted, this will be date and time. So I say date submitted. So I don't need the time, I just need the date because I need that on the certificate. Alright. One more thing that I'll also need there is I need to upload the document. I have a template already. I will open it first. I will upload it, then I will show us the template. It's called certificate of participation, which I'm going to edit here, and you'll be able to see the content of this document. All right. So I have this. I'm going to select it, then open it up in my app, desktop app. I designed all this myself in Word document. As you can see, these are all the components that I'm touching right here. Okay, so we just need to fill in a dynamic content here, which is the name and also the date issue. To do that, I'm going to go to insert, then come to text box. Okay, so let's make another attempt. Draw text box. Okay, I have that now. I can draw my text box here, then align so that I can make it central. I can also make the text here. Go to home, then make sure remove this space. All I'm doing is just formatting. Then I can increase the size to something like 28 at 6 48, so that is big. All right, it's like this. Also on that shape, I can remove, I have to remove the fill. Let's just leave the line there for now. So what I have to do to this, let me duplicate this. So I'm just duplicating it here. Then I will reduce this. That's for the date feed. Yep, I'm just going to reduce the body font and the details are the same. All right, so it's time to fill the dynamic content that this guy will carry. This is the full name, this is the date issue. So how do we get the full name? I'm here clicking here, right here, still on insert. I'm going to go to insert ribbon. I will see this thing called quick part. When I click on quick parts, you see document property, and right there you will see the full name. You see the date issue or date submitted. So full name here, I'm going to click on it. This way it has inserted that full name right here inside this place, and it's picking that size. So I can make it bold, so it's bold down, but the font size is also 48. Then I've come here to date, go to insert, click on this quick part, then see document library. I'm going to see date submitted. I also want to make it bold too, so just come here and click on this button. So that one too is bold. All right, so I can save this now, but before that I need to remove the line. So I can come here, then no outline here. Okay, of course I just have to select this, no outline. So right now they are good to go. Yeah, I think we have. Then this is saving. This document is saving. Okay, the document is saved. Then I'm going to close it. So right here, this is a document, and we'll be able to get these additional details anytime we are filling it. But one more thing I need to do is I need to move it to just my normal document library. So I'm going to move to my document library here, which is just application, and I'm moving to this document library. That is all. I'm going to move it there. So right now it will live here to this document library, and I'll be copying this because I want to keep it as a template. I'll be copying it from here to this document library to then work on it. All right, so let's go to our Power Automate flow. This is where we're going to start our flow. Create an automated cloud flow. When a new response is submitted, call this webinar certificate. So I'm going to create it. We'll be connecting to our webinar form. So when I type webinar, it's going to help me filter fast. That's Power Automate webinar. Then get response details. Get response details. I have it here. Same thing. I have to click on the form, select the form that I need to get responses from, which is here. Then the response ID. The next step is I have to copy, copy file from SharePoint. So because I want to have a copy of this, so where is the current site? If the current site is application, file to copy, I need to identify and pick that exact file. Remember, it's inside my SharePoint document, which is the document library. That should be inside the shared document. This is it. Certificate of participation. That is the file. So where's the destination address? It's still going to application, but the folder that is going to here is this. It's not this shared document, but rather webinar. There is a document folder called webinar, which I created. This is webinar certificate. So what if that kind of document exists? What should we do? Just replace. Okay, so now that I have this, the next thing here is to update file property. I'm going to say update file property. This update file property will allow us to fill in the details of this webinar certificate. The columns here will be able to fill all these properties. So what is the site? It's application. What is the library name? It is web certificate. Unique identifier of item to be updated. Now this column I can make it not compulsory, but of course you can always use this guy. This is the value, item ID. Then what about the title? I don't need title. The full name, yep, I can get that from my form. So I'll type full name coming from form. Email address is also coming from form. So say email address. Then date submitted is coming from there as well, which is the submission time. All right, so I have been able to update this. The next step here is for me to create, get file content. Why? Because I want to transfer it to OneDrive so that I can convert it there. But first I need to get the content of this file, which I have now updated the property. So I'm going to say get file content. I'm getting this from the SharePoint, so the content is what I actually need. The site is this, and the file identifier is the same thing for the update. Now I can use the update, which is the ID, list item ID. Then okay, but I can get that from the copy item actually, because that is the file. The copy item is actually the real file itself. So copy item, this is the ID. Okay, so I have that. The next step here is to create file. Create file in Word document. Create file, this is it. It's OneDrive. So what is the folder part? I just need the primary folder file part, the root one. I don't need to be specific because I'm still going to delete this Word document. What is the file name? So I'm going to put the full name. Let me type the full name and underscore and put certificate underscore and put time, so that I can be sure, because it could be of different types. In my expression, I'm going to type UTC now, just format for day, D alone. So we're going to put the date there. Yeah, UTC now. Yep, don't know why I'm having this long line, but that is it. .docx, because the Word document. Then what is the content? The content is the get file content that is coming from here. This is the content. Right now it's going to create this as a Word document in my OneDrive, and because my OneDrive has the action for convert file, and that is why I'm doing all this, you'll be able to allow me to convert. You can see this is the action file. What am I converting? This same guy, which is the ID of this create file. Take that Word document, convert it to PDF. That is all. It's going to convert this, but it will not add it to the folder. This conversion is only applicable, is only usable for me within this flow. So what then do I want to do? I want to create this PowerPoint, so what do you call it now, the PDF now in my SharePoint. So I'm going to use another action called create file. So this is create file. Remember, it's not the Word, it's not the OneDrive, it's the SharePoint, so that I can now have this PDF on the same SharePoint list, which is a document library now. What is the folder part? The folder part is this my webinar. What is the file name? The file name is here. This is the file name, and the content, and this is the content for the create file too. So in case I want to update the property of this PDF, you see that you can also use this update file properties. But let's go ahead and update, and I'll tell you why. So let's go ahead and update file property. Update file properties. What I'm updating for is this create file item. So this is the site, this is the library, and immediately I do that, it's going to be what is the ID, which is this guy create item. What am I updating? The full name. So I'm going to come back here for full name here. Email address, I'm going to pick the one coming from my from my Microsoft form, email address, and date submitted is the submission time. All right, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to take out the Word document and leave just the PDF. So I need to delete. So right here I'm going to say delete item, delete file. Sorry, is delete file. I'm deleting file here. Delete file first from OneDrive. This Word document that I create, I need to delete it. So right here I'm going to look for that ID from Word. Yeah, that is it here. Create file. This is the ID. This will delete it because I don't need that Word document again. You know, you don't have to have them for redundancy. Then the one here, which is the first Word document. There are two things here. I've been able to copy a file, update that file, get the content of that file, create it as a Word document as well on OneDrive, then convert it to PDF, then now create that PDF as a file on my SharePoint document library, then update the properties of that same file. So I have two files there now. Have the Word document, which is the initial file, and I have the PDF now. I need to take away this same Word document. So I've deleted the one from OneDrive, but let's delete the second one. So it's also delete file that I'm going to use, but this time around from, you can see that from SharePoint list. The address is SharePoint. Then it's going to ask me where is the file tab. I mean the identifier. I'm going to locate the one from copy file. So I'm looking for copy file. It should be primary right here. Now this update file property, yeah, copy file, this is the ID item. It's going to delete that one. Now I'm done deleting all those different duplicates of document. The next step here is to send email. I'm going to send an email right here. Then who am I sending it to? This is why I want to use my dynamic content, whatsoever the email the person enter. Then I'm going to say webinar certificate. So it's webinar certificate, and the content is kindly find attached your certificate of participation. Best regards. So how about saying dear, dear, since I have the name of the person. So their full name, I want to use the one from Word document, from form. All right. So come to show advanced option. Make sure you always select at least normal or normal, either normal or high. Otherwise, it's going to send it to low importance. For here, since I have the file of content, so I can say file name. This is the file name coming here. How about the content? I can search here, file content. So this is the file content from that convert file because it is accessible for us. So I'm going to click on save. And right now it's time to test our flow and see how this thing actually works. So I'm going to put my form on preview. Name, I'm going to put Olan. Let's just put Ola Charles. What's the email? We say at mspowert.excel.com. Okay, so I'm going to submit. Now that I've done this, on this SharePoint Document Library, I should see the details. First, a document needs to be duplicated here, to be copied here, which has been done. The properties will get updated. If I refresh now, the property will have been updated. Yeah, the property is updated. All the details I need, they're updated now. All other processes will have, taken place. So let me go back so that I can follow the stages. Okay, don't show this. The flow actually failed, so let's look at it and see what exactly failed here. File not found, get file content. Okay, it's at this point of getting file content, so but every other thing are going well. So let me check. Most likely the link to get the file content is what I didn't get right, so I need to locate that. Okay, get file content needs to be ID. Okay, item ID, I guess. Okay, so let me come here, update file property, copy file. No, where's the copy file? There should be copy file. Okay, this ID should be this ID. Actually, it should be this ID, and I think I have that ID used somewhere, so I need to be sure that I'm not using the wrong ID again. Actually, update, it should be ID under this create file too. Okay, I have this item ID. This is fine. So let me, I have to test this time around and use the failed data. So automatically failed one. So run the test so that we can follow through here. So we won't see a major change here, but if I refresh, I should be able to see when this guy, got updated. A few seconds ago, yes, the file names and properties will then get updated now. This is still running, it's already creating files. I've been able to get the content now. So if I come back here and refresh, you will see that it has been able to update the name, the details, while the flow is also running. Oops, I still hit another one. Hit another failed process just before sending the email. Delete file content, could not delete the file. Why? Does not exist. Oh, is the ID most likely. Oh, is the ID that I was looking for. That I knew I put an ID somewhere. I need to get that. So edit, under delete here, the ID I use. Oh, okay, should be the smaller ID from the item, which is the first one. Copy file, which is the copy file. It should be this ID. All right, and that is all. So I'm going to save it now. I knew I made a mistake somewhere. Yeah, we're going to run this flow for the last time, for twice. So I'm going to test it now. Interestingly, all these details are, it has even created the PDF. The new one is there. Just drop and need to be updating it. So let me delete this guy. Not in the PDF yet. Right, so this is still working. Yeah, this has been updated. Let's monitor the flow. It's creating the file. It's done converting. It's creating the PDF now in my SharePoint Document Library. Let's refresh. We should have the PDF there now. We were so late because the PDF got there and the Word document has been taken away. Yeah, now that's the goal. So the process is successful. The PDF gone, the Word document taken away. So let's just check our email. Okay, so I have it here. This is the email, and it came with an attachment, which I can see here, 136 kilobytes. When I open this attachment, you should be able to see the details right here. All right, certificate of participation. I can see Ola Charles. Wow, bold. date, in case you want to reduce this font size for the date. But you can see this works. So let's try another account. Let me use maybe another person's details in my Gmail account. One of my test Gmail account to try this. I'm going to fill the form so that we can see it being dropped in Gmail account. So I have filled this form for someone else now, and right here it's doing the regular thing. It's going to copy the generic certificate of participation here. It's going to update it with the metadata. It's going to delete it, and create a document, Word PDF document. When I refresh now, it will have done the update, delete, and do everything. What we might see might just be a Word document, a PDF. Okay, it's still doing it. It's still not done. So Adele John, that's the new person that I filled this form for. So the process is still ongoing. Come back to my flow. I have to come back to the general flow to be able to track this. Oh, it succeeded. By the time I refresh now, you see this Word document will no longer be there. Okay, you see it's now Adele John. That's a PDF that is there. If I go to my Gmail, right here you can see webinar certificate for Adele John. That is the name of the person that I put there, and this is the certificate, which I can literally open up and see the details. That makes a lot of sense. And this brings us to the end of this video. Thank you always for your support, and bye for now.